somebody said, Jimmy, did you announce your golf tournament, your charity event? Yes, I did. If you just go to facebook.com/JimmyLakey fan page, you'll see that it's coming up Friday, September the 11th. So yes, that message, I wanted to reply to that, and I didn't. So I just mentioned I just got that message in just a second ago. Did you announce? I heard you announce your golf tournament. When is it? Well, go to my Facebook page. You'll see it. Facebook.com/JimmyLakey fan page, and yeah, registration is open for that thing. September the 11th. Imagine, remember, we used to have things like golf tournaments.
Riding with Jimmy Lakey this morning. Great guy.
Remember the good old days? We're going to revisit that in September, just so you know. All right, every Wednesday at this time, we're joined by Steve Laffey. He has a website called SteveLaffey.com. Imagine that. That's very creative. Has written a book, has a movie, and all those fun things. We'll talk primary mistakes. The name of the book, Fixing America by Steve Laffey, is a movie. You can access all of that at his Facebook page, or excuse me, his website. You'll find it all, SteveLaffey.com. He joins now on the hotline. Steve Laffey, good morning, sir.
Jimmy, so great to be with you. It's it's going to be one hot day, but you've been doing just a great job on the show. This last guy, can I just say that if we were lawyers, you and I, and we went to the Supreme Court and we lost unanimously 4 whack job liberals, one guy who keeps going back and forth, and then 4 pretty conservative people. But if you had an issue where you lost unanimously, shouldn't you just turn in the robe? Shouldn't you turn in your law degree and just say, I did? They were always going to lose, but they keep doing it. And this is the difference between liberals and conservatives, one of the many. These liberal people, they won't care after the ruling, Jimmy. They're just going to keep going. They're going to put it on the ballot. They're going to bring it up again. They can't stop. They couldn't care less about the law, which is what's happening all over the country.
Yeah, that's true. Jared Polis, basically his thought that we should give away our popular vote, our electoral college vote, to our popular vote, surrender in California, even though I think the Attorney General said it was a good decision by the Supreme Court, yet they're all for us giving up our popular vote here and surrendering into California. So they have no shame, but they didn't get defeated in the Supreme Court. Hopefully they lay some precedent. Steve, you saw a headline. You just sent me the headline. I saw it yesterday, and I was kind of shocked by it. It says, Poudre School Districts creates an action plan to address racist posts. And first of all, it's silly. I read the whole thing, and what did Poudre School District do? Basically nothing. And I'm sitting here thinking, where are the parents in this thing? And doesn't Poudre have other things to do and other things they should be dealing with? You saw the same headline in the Colorado one yesterday, and you got ticked off enough about the idiocy of the whole thing, you canceled your entire subscription.
I did. I read yesterday's paper, and I've canceled the Colorado one so many times. and I go back to it, Jimmy, because it does have a local news story, like one. But so what they try to do, of course, is charge $12, and then they all of a sudden becomes 22, then 25. So that happened at the same day that they're billing me 25, and I pay I've told everybody, I pay 16 for the Wall Street Journal to be delivered. So why would I pay $25 a month for the Colorado? But there are 2 articles that I sent you. One, first of all, and this has nothing to do with race, kids do really stupid things. When they do it in the summertime, why is it the purvey of anybody but their parents? And if really bad, the police department. Would anybody know why it would be the purvey of anybody at the Poudre School District? Or any school district, the Cranston, Rhode Island School District that I attended, or the one you send your child? Why would it be the purvey of any of them? I have no understanding if it happens even after school, right? Out of school, you steal a car. What is this? They're going to get arrested. So, but this is what's going on, where instead of posting the low math scores, and how are they going to deal with the low math scores at all these school districts across the country, or how? This is all they're spending their time on. And then if you combine, this is just the Colorado one, okay, about flooding. So 3 people from the USA Today, not local, write an article about there is more flooding than the federal government reports, right? So let me just give everybody the numbers. There really are 131,000 properties in Colorado that could flood. There used to be thought there was 43,000, but they find that the 43,000 is 200% less than the 131,000. Jimmy, there's nothing that's 200% less. 1 million goes to 0. That would be 100% less. Does everybody get this? So actually, all you're going to do is take the numbers and say 43,000 divided by 131,000, and it's 67% less. But the people who wrote the article in the USA Today last week, this is an old article, Colorado and republishes. There's not one person who knows enough math who read this article before it got published. Not one who didn't stare at it and go, like my 12-year-old, oh, this is totally wrong. How could they do this? This is how bad the newspapers are. So I canceled. I'm going. I'm done. Let me know what's going on locally when you get a chance.
I was struck by that because Putin, it seems like, should be joining in the conversation. President Trump yesterday said kids ought to get back to school. We ought to make sure the kids are back in physical learning, not remote learning. But Putin's dealing with things that, again, parents should be dealing with. And it's like I've said across the state, nobody's dealt with the fact that kids are not proficient in math or reading statewide. In the state's own testing mechanism, school districts don't want to deal with their own inefficiency and their own deficiencies, but they want to jump into something that a kid did stupidly on social media.
And this, yeah, and this is what gets at the whole thing about going back to homeschooling. So if anybody wants to email me at stevelaffey.com, which dozens of people do about homeschooling, I'm sort of the homeschooling expert, the combination of one of my daughters having cancer 5 years ago, me taking it over, my wife has done it, we both do it, let's say. But I'm sort of the expert now with 6 kids, right? I don't know why anybody would send their kids back. I hate to say it like this, but the public school system needs to be ended in the United States of America. This is what they're teaching. It's on the front page, not just the college, it's all over the country, right? They're all concerned with everything but math. You know, hey, even, listen, I have 3 kids taking the SAT on August 29th. One's 12, okay? One's 14, and one's 16. So when you go to someone just go to the College Board website and find that they slap you with that the certain employees who work there are having a really difficult time with what's going on. I just want the SAT test. I don't want their problems. I don't need to go into stores and still round up to the nearby charity. I do my own charity. And all this can be summed up by nobody seems to want to take responsibility for their own job, their own company. They all want to be blaming somebody else. It's absolutely bizarre, but it's the world we live in.
Here's your headline of the paper and headline of the news all last night was people, of course, CNN, the usual crowd, were very shocked. Donald Trump has decided that we should not be in the World Health Organization, and I say amen. Give me your thoughts on that. Head of the Wall Street Journal today, Trump pulled out of the U.S. out of the World Health Organization. Give me your thoughts.
Well, I think it's great, and I think that we should have pulled out years ago. We shouldn't be in it. It was all of these organizations have been corrupted by communist China, and so that brings you to the question: if communist China has corrupted the World Health Organization, they've certainly corrupted, along with people that deny human rights, they certainly have corrupted the United Nations. So I'd ask the question: why are we having United Nations in the United States? Presently, as it's formulated, where China gets to block votes, right? Why would we have that? They're a communist totalitarian regime. When are people going to figure this out? So they don't keep any of their promises, except now, unlike Soviet Union times, where, except for the New York Times back in the 20s, they thought things were great, but no one thought that they were going to keep their promises, right? So, but we all still operate, I mean, the people in the government, Mnuchin, Mad Dog Mattis when he was around, the president, they operate as if they are going to keep their promises. Jimmy, they bought like 3% of the manufacturing goods. It's July as part of the trade deal. They're never going to buy the food. They're never going to keep their agreement on the trade deal, which is a terrible, terrible trade deal. So why would we stay with the World Health Organization? I'll give you an example. If I were the president, the United Nations would be changed. It would stay in New York, and we would say there are 3 classes of people who can come. There's the Class A people, United States, New Zealand, France, Germany, even though I'm not a big fan of the Germans, England, right, Canada. People who actually have democracies can stay in the inner circle. The people who are sort of getting there, they'll be in the B circle. They'll be looking down and saying, how can I be in a major part of the UN? And then you've got communist China and Iran and others like them that can't be there at all. Or they can just watch on TV. Why would we allow everybody to be part of the United Nations? We know what's happened with the United Nations. We know people have been abused overseas with all the people we send over there. We know it's corrupt. We know they don't support human rights. Look who runs the Human Rights Commissions, and we know that we've done nothing about it. So the World Health Organization is a small operation compared to the United Nations, but these people use it as a way to tell not only their own people, but other people that they're legitimate. They are not legitimate. Communist China is not a legitimate country. It needs to be destroyed. Economically first, and if not, we're going to have a war with them where your kid, my kid may be fighting, which would be a tragedy, right? It's like sitting around before World War II and knowing what's going on. John F. Kennedy wrote a book, While England Slept. They knew what was going on. They just didn't wake up in time. And that's the case for all. The history of the world is like this. Simple things that could be done to stop Communist China right now, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, to keep them from being the world superpower, were not done. And when we're about to die, we'll do something, it looks like.
Last 12 months about the way that China is treating what we call the Uighurs, which are the Muslim population. And the world seems to turn its eye on that. We have people protesting Black Lives Matter here in America, and yet there's slavery happening right now in different places in Africa. There's slavery happening in China with the Wiegers. It really is amazing how we just ignore what's happening in China. And this ought to be another reason why we'd stop doing anything or any kind of business with them. But the American media, probably outside of this show and you and a couple of others, never talks about the human rights that's happening, the tragedy happening with these Muslim people right now in communist China.
Yeah, even now, like there's a commercial running during the break about Cory Gardner. He finally gets it on China. Have you ever heard him has anybody ever heard him speak about communist China for 12 years he's been in office, in the Congress? Not one word. Not one word. Now, because people have woken up about medical product devices, he has a bill. Jimmy, it's like the bill didn't they just have this bill? Didn't Tom Cotton have the bill? None of the bills seem to pass yet. Yet we can send to hedge funds, private placements. We can allow the giant banks to pull in billions of dollars that I sent to you over there. We can allow all this stuff to happen, all the major corruption, right? Big fees for banks. J.P. Morgan takes in $1 billion for? That's totally okay with everybody? And then look who got the loans over here in America. We focus in on this. It's unbelievable. How do law firms get loans? Did legal business go down? All this was planned. And so back to communist China and the Uighurs. There's forced sterilization going on. They're going to wipe out the entire population. Now, I say this as a Christian. These people are Muslims. The communist Chinese government is going to wipe out the entire population over the next 20 years. They're going to eradicate the fact that they ever existed. Does that sound familiar to world history? Or does nobody know world history? Didn't this happen in Germany? They did it in different ways. Why is the president okaying this? Where's Tom Cotton on that? This is, if you're a Christian and you're listening, you're allowing, by buying stuff in China, by not calling your congressman, by putting up with all this stuff, by allowing the guy who runs Apple Computer to use slave labor, we're all allowing this stuff to go on and sleep at night. And now, and what are we doing about discrimination? What are we doing? I mean, this is like the craziest thing I've ever seen, that the American people will not react, that the president won't just say, I've had enough, that the Congress doesn't have major sanctions, and literally, as I've said and posted since 2011, even though I've said since 2005, I posted a Fixing America movie on Facebook. I've written about it. I've spoken about it on your show maybe 100 times. We have to stop trading with them to bring their country to its knees. Why are we not doing this?
Going to Rwanda, and the genocide happened there 25 years ago, when everybody, the nations all come together saying, we'll never allow a genocide to happen again, and yet there is a genocide happening right now in China, and we're not doing a darn thing about it.
And it's all about the money. Even the Pakistan people are allowing it to happen to their fellow Muslims. Think about this. Think the morals of what's going on. I know we have just a minute, but the morals of taking the PPP money, right? I tried to post this on Facebook, and I really couldn't keep it. It was just too sensitive. But I grew up in a fairly poor family, and I looked through my father's tax returns one year, late 1990, and adjusted for today's inflation, we probably made 10 grand with 5 kids. My mother went back to work at 11 to 7 p.m. My father never would have taken it. In a million years, he never would have sent us to school to get a free lunch. We went with literally ketchup and mayonnaise sandwiches. We never knew we were poor. He always had a smile on his face. He always sucked it up, right? Guy with flat feet, a large head, couldn't go to college. His first wife dies giving childbirth, and the child dies. Always in a good mood. What the hell happened to the world? Who are these people at law firms? Who are these people all over who say, this is a pretty good idea. We're not losing any business, but we can keep all the money, and then we can keep the extra million. We, the partners. We, the hedge funds. It's on the front page of the papers. And so one last thing. It was always designed to be like this. Don't let anybody believe that, oh, we just made it too general and now we're going to do this, like McConnell's saying. It was always designed for large companies and powerful banks to destroy the middle class. And I, for one, have had it.
It's at the Colorado Sun, and I was shocked at just some of the companies, some of the law firms that were there. And then you hear nationally, you hear Nancy Pelosi's husband is part of a company. He got some PPP funds to keep his company afloat, and yet they were never in danger of going down. It was all a ruse, my friend. It was all a ruse, and you can read the name page after page after page. Businesses that you kind of scratch your head and say, wow, I'm not sure that's what it was intended for, but God bless them.
Yes. Yeah. Love you, my friend. Great show. And so, we'll end with this. This is just beyond anything that's ever happened, even under the Obama administration. And the President of the United States could stop all of this, and he chooses not to. I'm 3 chapters into John Bolton's book. And I know people are going to say he's a warmonger, whatever. The same people who defended him. Folks, if you don't get back to principle of what really runs this country, it's all lost. Backing what someone's doing because they're better than somebody else, it is insanity. All of you could have pushed, like I tried to, and tried to convince companies to push the president into something more than what he's doing. And ruin, literally financial ruin, is right in front of the United States of America's face. Everybody sleep well. All right, Steve, let's get back to making some money here.